Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Mark here with the Better Mark. Let's get into the afternoon slate here for week one college football. We have an action-packed day, not just with these 3:30, 4 o'clock, 4:30 games. We have a very exciting matchup tonight with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and the Texas A&M Aggies. Johnny Manziel, the celebrity guest picker there on game day. We have a great matchup tomorrow within LSU and USC. This is really a great week one. Really looking forward to some of these games and contests. And as always, we're going to give you guys all the best bets right here live on the channel. We have 6 best bets on this afternoon slate, so make sure you guys all stick around to the end. If you have not done so, please subscribe down below to the channel, smash that like button, and feel free. Let me know what you guys will be betting down below in the comments box, okay? But let's get it going. Let's talk about it. We got a lot of stuff to get into. I'm going to try to keep this video as short as possible because I know you guys have a lot of stuff to do on a Saturday. So I'll give you guys my take, my analysis, and then obviously my best bets towards the end of this video, okay? So let's get into it. Let's talk about what's happening. We'll get into the odds jam. And if you guys want to sign up with odds jam, this is a great time to do so. Use my promo code TBM for 35% off your monthly and or annual plan. It's a very great tool within sports gambling. I use it on every one of my bets. Quite frankly, I don't make a bet without it. If you're looking to get in-game live action, you find the best number available. It does save you time and money. It's fully worth it. I use it on every one of my bets, and I'm going to use it for the context of this video breakdown of my best bets because, like I said, it's going to give you guys the best numbers, so that's why we're here, and let's get down into the picks, okay? Now, the first game we're going to talk about is a 3 o'clock matchup between Portland State and Washington State. Now, the reason why we're betting this game, quite frankly, is just it's simply put, it's Cam Ward is not a member of the Washington State team anymore, and what we're going to talk about here is kind of the narrative here where you take all that offensive production, you take it out of the equation, and you end up with a game where, quite frankly, I think that it's going to lend towards a little bit of the unknown, okay? So I don't really get into numbers too much here. That's not how I do it. Quite frankly, week one, there's really no numbers to go off of. How can we use any Washington State numbers or data from last year to compile the best bet that we're going to make? Because it's something where this is a whole new offense. It's going to be a whole new system, kind of whole new everything. So I'm not going to take any of these numbers. That's not how I do it. And quite frankly, I could have a channel where we talk for an hour and a half because to get into all those numbers, it's really going to waste a lot of your guys' time because the really only thing that matters is who wins and cashing that ticket, okay? But in this game, I don't think that Washington State's going to lose this game. However, the 28.5 for Portland State, it's just a play off the number. Give me 4 touchdowns on the road in this opener. I think Washington State rolls, but I think 28.5 presents some value with the Cam Ward absent Washington State team. And quite frankly, if we look further into this, the Cougars, I don't see them I guess you would say one of the best fan bases, but I don't see them kind of getting it done in a crazy way, okay? We look at kind of what they were able to do last year. You can look into the numbers, and yeah, it was a little bit underwhelming. I think Portland State very, very much overmatched in this contest, but 28.5 is just a little too much. So lock it in. That's my first best bet, minus 110. Okay, and then the next game we're going to get into is a huge game. There's a lot of money flowing around this game. This is a matchup between Florida and the likes of the Miami Hurricanes. Quite frankly, this is a game where you look at NIL money, you look at what Miami is able to do with Mario Cristobal. They have a lot of inflows, okay? A lot of inflows. That's actually where Cam Ward settled, and this is where you're seeing a lot of movement, right? We saw this game open at 2. That's a great number to have if you're going to bet both sides of the equation. If you're really 50%, if you don't really know who you're betting, I think 2 is the right number. Quite frankly, I like the Gators in this contest. I like them on the money line. I think they're going to be playing at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. 3:30 kickoff. This is where we're going to be all over Florida. I'm going to take the field goal plus 3 for the Gators. We can look at some of the money too flowing, and I do use Outlier for this. This is another tool that I use within my sports betting arsenal. It really arms me with the best bet possible as well. But this is where we look into this 3:30 game, and I want to pull up kind of the pros versus Joes in this, okay? Because right now we're seeing 96% of the money is on the Miami Hurricanes. But in terms of the spread, it's a little bit right down the middle, 50%. That's why we're seeing this at a plus 2.5. You can find the field goal out there. So if you can find the plus 3, that's what we're going to take. I don't really, quite frankly, like in terms of the Florida Gators, this narrative within kind of Billy Napier. I think they've really underachieved as a program. This is something where you look at what the steam was before he became head coach there in Gainesville, not getting it done. I think both of these coaches are going to be on the hot seat this year. More specifically, this is a game that Miami needs to win. With what their boosters and donors have been doing in terms of NIL, if they don't win this game, I could see basically one of these coaches being outed for before the 2025 season. So that's where we're going to take the Florida Gators. I know on the money line, Miami's kind of the play. Minus 132 is the best number. So if you like the Hurricanes, I'm not mad at you. Like I said, I just think there's value taking Florida with the field goal. Worst case, maybe we get a push or Florida rolls in this matchup. 3:30 kick on ABC. And let's get the Gators in the win column here, but we'll take the field goal here, plus 3, minus 115, okay? And then the next bet we're going to get into is the Texas Longhorns, and this is a game where if we get into kind of what they're doing, we look at the Colorado State Rams coming into town. This is something where I think Texas, we all know kind of the narrative, the highest paid quarterback in terms of NIL money. It goes to, I believe it's Shedeur Sanders. So this is going to be a matchup between kind of who's going to be that number 1 draft pick per se. And also, I think that you have to see Arch Manning. That's the whole story with him being backup. But Quinn Ewers, this is something where there's going to be a lot of competition here. I think that both of these teams are going to score a lot of points. I think this is something where you look at Quinn Ewers and what he's able to do in Arch Manning and his NIL money. I think this is something where, Quinn Ewers is going to get that start. Whether or not we see a quarterback controversy, that's yet to be determined. I think Texas is going to score a lot of points here, okay? That's just kind of where I'm at. Steve Sarkisian, it's something where you got to understand the offense that he runs. They're going to put up a ton of points here. I think they're going to be motivated. I think they're going to come out hot. I think Colorado State on the back end is going to be able to score points as well. So I do like the total in this one. We're going to take over 59.5 with the Longhorns Colorado State game coming to you guys live, 3:30. This is one where we're going to see this one kick off. And I believe this one's going to be on ESPN. So that's a game I'm interested in watching. Colorado State's no slouch. They're going to be able to score, I think, at least 14 points. I think we see a 40-plus, 45-plus performance from Texas, possibly even into the 50s. Maybe we get a 50-20 game. I just think that this is a higher total at 60. So let's get on that 59.5, minus 110, and go for the over, okay? That'll be my third best bet. The next game we're going to talk about is Akron and Ohio State, okay? One of the weird things about Ohio State and their program, yes, annually, perennially, they are a powerhouse. Yes, a lot of people think they have the best roster. Yes, a lot of people think that with what they're able to do offensively, I know they lose Marvin Harrison, but what they were able to bring in, they're going to score a bunch of points in this game. I think it's going to get out of hand early, and this is something where we look into Ohio State in the transfer that they were able to get from Kansas State. This is something where Will Howard coming into town, kind of giving me that Craig Krenzel vibe, okay? He's a little bit more mobile, though. He is going to be able to score. I think Ohio State rolls in this game. I'm just not confident with this big number, 49. Ohio State traditionally in these kind of in-state school games, right? There is a weird little stipulation within the Ohio legislature where Ohio State has to schedule the in-state schools. It's something where it's unique in a way. So it's a way kind of to give back to the public universities. It's a mandate. It's actually legislature for them to do this. And yeah, it's usually a bloodbath. We see it. They have to play a lot of MAC schools. They have to play Cincinnati. But it does happen more times than not where these games end up being blowouts. I'm not confident on the 48.5 you can find or the 49s. But we are going to look into kind of some value here. This is a plus money bet, okay? In these kind of blowout style games, I do look for the losing team sometimes to scratch across a couple points. We saw it last night within the Temple, Oklahoma game. We know kind of it's a little different because within Oklahoma, it's kind of more of a defensive style matchup. I think they really put an emphasis in that more than offense. If you look at who Oklahoma brought over from Texas and kind of that whole mindset. Okay, Brent Venables, defensive-minded coach, defensive coordinator for Texas. They won 51-3. So Temple scored 3. One of the popular bets across the board yesterday was, will Oklahoma win in a shutout fashion? That was, I think, plus 330. Temple ended up scratching across a field goal, so that bet did not cash. We did give out the Temple Owls under 7.5. That line moved down to 6.5, but it still cashed. Temple only scratched across 3. But I like the plus money here, plus 165. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys here. I'm going to bring it up. This is why I use OddsJam. You can find the best number available, but I do like the fact we're going to disregard the 4s, the 3.5s. That's 2 field goals. You cash that bet. So if you do take the over 4.5 or 3.5, you will get that at plus 115. So if you like Akron to kick 2 field goals to score, miss an extra point, you're going to cash that bet. But I see some value, plus 165. Let's take the Zips, 3 field goals or a field goal and a touchdown, over 6.5, plus 165, team total, Akron Zips. That's going to be my 4th best bet here on the card. All right, and then the other game we're going to talk about is Indiana, okay? Indiana is a game and a matchup where you have to look into this storyline. They're taking on FIU at home, and what Indiana was able to do, and this is something where I think you have to understand kind of where the offseason led for the Hoosiers, okay? This is something where they were able to have probably the biggest, I guess you would say, offseason in terms of the fact that they got Kirk Cignetti, okay? And for those of you that do not know who Kirk Cignetti is, came over from James Madison, all right? And James Madison, a great team, just a different tier of football, brought a lot of players over as well. I think the Hoosiers are going to be revamped. I think they're going to be ready to go. I like Indiana here, minus 21. I think they're going to kind of shock and turn some heads this season, okay? And in this matchup, I like Indiana in terms of what they're going to be able to do. And I'll pull up the numbers here so you guys can see for yourself. Let me find this here on the board. Indiana, Florida International. You see Indiana right now, minus 21.5. If you shop around, you can find 3 touchdowns. Don't take the hook on this one. That's a bad number, 21.5. But I do see Indiana and Florida International being a very, very big lopsided affair. I think that they're going to score close to 40, if not more. And I think that with that defensive mindset that, Kirk Cignetti is going to implore, I think that FIU gets worked here. I like the Hoosiers rolling at home. It's going to be a different style of football, different brand of football. So I'm taking Indiana Hoosiers minus 21. I know this is kind of the worst side of it, okay? And I can't find it for you guys, but the opening numbers, see if I can pull up kind of a different sheet here where you can see kind of where we opened up at. Unfortunately, I can't, but this is where the number, you could find 20s, and now 21. It's a little bit different. It's kind of the same mentality, though. So I like Hoosiers in this spot, minus 21. Lock it in as my 5th official play. And I think really the Indiana Hoosiers are going to be a sleeper in the Big Ten, I think, with what they were able to bring in from all those transfers from James Madison, as well as what Kirk Cignetti brings to the table. Okay, so that will be my 5th best bet. And then my 6th game that I'm going to be targeting in this slate, this will be the likes of the Alabama matchup, okay? And Alabama, we'll get down to that in the odds board. You can see right now, if we find it here, and you're going to have to forgive me, this might be actually a later game. This is going to be, why can't I find this? Give me 1 second. Sorry, my screen's a little screwed up. Okay, yeah, this will be a 7 o'clock game here, Western Kentucky. We're going to feature it, okay? We're going to feature it, and I will, for transparency's sake, include this onto my evening slate primetime games because this is one of my favorite bets on the card, okay? We look at this game, and they are hosting Western Kentucky, and the Hilltoppers, they have scored points in the past. I think that what we're able to do with Kalen DeBow coming up from Washington And that style of football, yeah, he played a little bit of a Pac-12 kind of mindset where we're just going to run and gun, air raid, something, a little tie into the Hoosiers, okay? This is kind of where we saw Michael Penix Jr. for the Hoosiers in that Heisman campaign. What he was able to do offensively, that style of football, I think it translates. I think with Jalen Milroe, that's one of the safer bets within the futures game. Love him for the Heisman pick. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm a big fan. I'm very much up on Alabama this season, and I think that he's really going to kind of inherit a really great system of players within the Crimson Tide from Nick Saban. I think that's going to be a very seamless transition. A lot of people were kind of iffy on that hire. I think it's going to be one that really takes the Crimson Tide faithful down in Tuscaloosa to a new level. I think that's probably the best thing they could have done was hire him. That's kind of my it was the number one candidate, top of the board pick for me in terms of Nick Saban's replacement. And I do like the Crimson Tide in this spot, but we are going to be taking this, and once again, this is going to be another play on the points, okay? It's going to be a play on the points with what Alabama is going to be able to do. And the reason why we couldn't find it is because it is a 7 o'clock game. So I will scroll down so you guys can see it. And I will talk about it again in my evening rundown for these primetime later matchups. But here it is. The best number out there is a 59. You can take a juiced up 59. Let's go over here. I think Alabama gets into the high 40s as well. And I think Western Kentucky is going to be able to scratch across 2 touchdowns and a couple kicks. So I like for the 59 to shine through. Jalen Milroe is going to have a huge game offensively, and look for the Crimson Tide to cover this 59, and we're going to see a high-scoring affair. Western Kentucky, Alabama, 7 o'clock kickoff on ESPN. So that'll wrap up my best bets. Those are my 6 best bets I'll give you guys in this video. Here's a quick rundown of my final plays, and you can see it right here on your screen. That's where we're going to have Portland State plus the points, Florida plus the points, Texas over 59.5, Akron over the team total 6.5, Indiana Hoosiers minus 21, and the Alabama Crimson Tide over 59. So that'll wrap it up, guys. If you haven't done so, before you leave this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and thank you all for being part of the team here at TBM, and we'll see you guys all in the next video. Good luck with your picks. Cheers.